For my Premier League review, yes, sorry, getting confused with myself there, of the weekend. And what a weekend of football it was. There was some big battles to be had over the football weekend this week, and they were fought out real well, and they were kind of like, there's been a shift in mentality across the table. Starting off the weekend with a big one between United and Spurs, and United dominated that first half, dominated it. It probably could have been more. And Burnham with a great goal to start things off with for us. We didn't get another goal. We then, second half, Spurs started to put a bit up the ante a bit. Xavi Simons obviously was the driving force behind most of it, and then obviously went off. The switch up completely changed how Spurs were attacking it, obviously with Odegaard on, with Matheus Tel, and Tel actually scoring the goal that started that Spurs comeback. They got 1-1, and then Richarlison, a little doghead, onto it, making it 2-1 to Spurs, taking his shirt off, running to the crowd, crying. He thought he got the winner, he thought he'd done it. But big Matthias did it, had other questions, that equaliser. Man, I was going to work frustrated. I was like, put my shoes on. Oh man, Matthias did it, rose, and I said it would be 2-2. I predicted 2-2 at the start of the week. I'll take 2-2 at the end of the week. Obviously, from the position we was in and the way we played, I'd have liked to see more, but we didn't get more. And in football, you can't always be like complaining too much that you didn't get more, because sometimes that's all there is to get. And I'll take 2-2. It keeps us now on 18 points. Obviously, it'd be nice to have got to that 20 mark. 11 games in now, which 11 points with Spurs, 11 points with Villa, level points with quite a few teams sat on 18 points right now, all getting there through different means. But yeah, we'll take it where we are right now. Everton beating Fulham 2-0, another game where I said Everton would beat Fulham in this game. Fulham might have beat Wolves last weekend, but they didn't impress me, and they showed how unimpressive they have been this season, and how things started to be struggling a bit for him. A couple of years ago they had Mitrovic up front and he was doing the work, but now with Jimenez and Muniz, they're not doing anything much this year. They've had their injury problems, yes, but this Fulham team doesn't have anything that excites me. I do think it has dropped off from the Premier League standard. When you look at like teams that a couple of years ago were on par with Fulham, you'd say like Bournemouth and Crystal Palace and Brentford, now excelling and now changing the way people think about football. With Iraola, even Keith Andrews, and obviously Glasner, especially winning a trophy last year with Palace. Fulham are now lacking behind. Like with Wolves, with West Ham, where they've not innovated enough, they've not changed enough, and they've not moved on with the times enough, and they're being punished for it, and they are going to get dragged into that relegation battle unless Marco Silva can start to change things up and give this Fulham team a new light. Because West Ham got back to winning ways with a 3-2 win. That's back-to-back wins for West Ham, back-to-back games where they scored 3 goals as well. Doing really well for themselves in that game against Burnley. Burnley showing that they're not just taking pushed around, getting 2 goals away from home like they did in the Wolves game. Once again, Wolves are just poor, guys. We can't keep on praising teams playing well against Wolves. Wolves are dog. They are holding up the table. They are holding up the table right now. But Burnley are doing what they can do. Sorry, my system's just gone off. There we go, it's back on. Doing what they can do to stay in the Premier League. Obviously, they're a team that a lot of people at the start of the season said, yeah, bottom of the table, easy, no question. I actually said they'd be an 11-point team. They're proving that they're probably not going to be that, but we'll still got time to see. Sunderland, however, a promoted team that I did say would stay up, I thought would definitely stay up. I thought they made the right recruitment, and a player like Xhaka as well, who can boss the park. He can boss the park. Not only that, there were players that weren't signed have managed to step up, like Hume, like Ballard, and Ballard scoring a massive goal for Sunderland in this game as they drew 2-2 to Arsenal. I thought for a minute they might win this game, to be honest. Obviously a big goal at the end, equalising there for Sunderland. Arsenal were disappointed in themselves, conceding 2 goals in the game as well. Obviously they all go, right, is that a shot on target, right? Maybe should have kept it that way, because they had a couple of shots on target this game and they let them in. Yeah, what more to say? Arsenal not up to it on the day. Obviously they're missing Gyökeres right now, and they've got their injury problems, but that's no excuse for what Arsenal want to do this season. What everyone's talking about Arsenal doing this season. Everyone's saying, yeah, Arsenal are going to go win the league. it's not cut and dry for you. So we were a 2-2 draw away to Sunderland. It's a tough place to go. It is a tough place to go. But Everton have just been there and got the same result. So I don't know about that one. Chelsea beat Wolves 3-0. But as I said earlier, what does that mean? Nothing. It's against Wolves. You should be beating Wolves. Now, hopefully, these words don't come on back and bite me in the ass. But we don't play Wolves for a while now. I think it's like the 19th we play Wolves. Oh wait, no, we played before that, do we? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Rob Edwards might be taking charge of him. He might have already taken charge of him by the time this video comes out. But yeah, a 3-0 win for Chelsea there. And obviously, Chelsea fans start to pipe up back again and go, yeah, we're back at it, you know. I don't think he's are. I think when you get a challenge, whether your next challenge is, who's Chelsea got next? Chelsea have Burnley. I think, you know what? I think even Burnley might slip you up. Wolves and Rob Edwards' first game against Palace, and I feel like maybe he could change things around. We'll wait and see on that one. Swings and roundabouts. But yeah, I don't think Chelsea have improved too much. Obviously, we saw the goals from Neto, which was always going to happen. Pedro Neto was always going to score. João Pedro and Gusto. Garnacho getting 2 assists, and I'm hearing, where the Garnacho haters now? I'll be back next week, on 2 weeks, sorry, after the international break, because we're in international break now. Villa making a statement. Obviously, people are going to this game going, oh, could Bournemouth? No, Bournemouth got shut down and shut up. A 4-0 win from Villa is massive, and I can't pretend that I watched this game. I watched the Palace Brighton game, which was a 0-0 affair, and not too much to talk about, man. But Villa Bournemouth, my God, that is a massive statement for Villa, and it puts them above Bournemouth in the table now, and it kind of shows where obviously Villa's season, at the start of the season, they looked bad. They fixed it up now though. What's that? 6 wins in the last 7. That loss last week to Liverpool, disappointing to see for me. It's particularly as a United fan, I would love to see Villa beat Liverpool as well, and it would put Liverpool in their place. But sadly, no. A 4-0 win against Bournemouth, and they'll be very happy with that. They believe in Villa Park with a big smile on their face, and obviously now on 18 points in 6th in the league, 7th in the league, something like that. I think United are in 8th now. I'm not too sure. We're somewhere. Palace and Brighton, as I said, 0-0. Big derby, big loads of threat. I thought, you know what, Palace are a changed team. They're going to get a result out of this one. No. It was more a goalkeeping display, some massive saves, especially towards the end. But Brugge made a great save. That it was a shot of nothing from Pino. I will say that. Just don't know why it just stuck to my head, but it's a shot from Pino, and almost went in. But yeah, it was 0-0. Well, what can you say about 0-0s? Not too much. Brentford beating Newcastle 3-1, and the talks back in the town about Newcastle, in the tune, should I say? Newcastle, what's happened? Because like, as I was saying the other day, in this Newcastle, I said Brentford would win this game. I should have won the game 4-1. I was a goal off. Igor Thiago getting 2 goals, doing really well for himself. Newcastle go down to 10 men with Dan Burn getting sent off. But just a poor performance. Like, just a poor performance from the get-go, really. Like, what can Newcastle do right now? Because I think Newcastle are a very good team on paper. Similar to United last year, where United are a really good team on paper, but the game is played on grass, guys. The game is played on grass, and if you can't play on grass, guess what? You're gonna struggle. But yeah, it's a fall from grace from Newcastle, and you know, they got the Champions League and stuff like that to be worrying about. It's the same what happened last time there was in Champions League, where it all kind of just stumbled down. Forest and Leeds, another 3-1 game, another team that's in Europe, but Forest turning things around again with a big win against a team that is down there with them. Leeds would have been hoping for a result in this game. I still think Leeds have a chance to stay up. I still think Forest have a chance to go down, but they look like a massive improvement on the Sean Dyche now. If Nuno would have stayed, I thought it would have been fine, to be honest, as well. But that Ange mess has kind of set them up for a bit of a shaky season, to be honest. But I think Sean Dyche can lead them to safety. I don't think he can lead them too far in Europe, but he can definitely make sure Forest stay safe. And then finally, the big game of the weekend, the huge game of the weekend, the talk of the weekend, was City, Liverpool, and what the repercussions would mean going into the game, going out of the game. And a big 3-1 for City meant City left the game smiling. 4 points off the table, second right now, close to Arsenal, closing them down. Liverpool falling to 9th in the table. United are above them. Things looking okay there. You know, I don't mind this Liverpool fall down. I've seen they've lost 40% of their games since March. Yeah, keep that up, boys. Keep that up. That's what we love to see. 40% of your games since March. That is horrendous. That is horrendous. They might win the league in that time, but they have not played. They have not played pretty in that time either. Yeah, big whip for City. Obviously, Haaland having his penalty save, but then getting his goal. He's always going to get his goal in it. And then really, Doku was the star man. Doku, after Bradley locked up Vinicius Junior the other day, Doku must have studied that, because he didn't go one-on-one a lot with Bradley. Because when he did, it was 50-50. But he got there at the right moments, and Doku had a great game. And I will give a man his praises when he needs to have his praises. It was the star of the week for me, to be honest. I watched most of these games, and Doku put in a great performance. Got a goal to top it off. Won the penalty. It was all over the place in a good way. But yeah, that is impressive from him. City will be leaving this weekend being like everything has worked out the way they want it to work out right now. And Pep's probably tasted a bit of blood. The Sharks are in the war. Arsenal probably need to be a bit scared now. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. If you like the video, please leave a like and see more, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hopefully I do. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.